when you think of the sport of cheerleading, what do you think of? I'll give you a second. Well, I bet most people would say the girls that cheer at football games with their pom poms and little dances. Well, I guess that's somewhat true, but the sport of cheerleading is so much bigger and more in depth than that. I want you to look at the image you have of cheerleading now, and wait till after the speech and look at the image you have then, and see the difference between the two and how much has changed. I think you'll see that you'll have learned a lot from this speech, probably more than you thought you would have. I will be covering some of the main points of cheerleading, such as the sideline season of cheerleading, the competition season of cheerleading, and the opportunities after high school for cheerleaders. And just keep your mind open and soak in what I'm about to tell you, as you might find yourself with a newfound respect for the sport. Let's begin with sideline season. Sideline season is where cheerleaders cheer for the audience of a football game to try to create some kind of energy for them. And they do this with 3 different types of things, and I'll explain all 3. The first is a dance and chant. And to explain, it's really simple. It is what it particularly says. They do a chant and a little dance is accompanied with it. That's probably the most basic out of the 3. The next is tumbling, and that's things such as the back tuck, which better known to you as probably the backflip. And I have a love-hate relationship with the back tuck because I've landed on my head multiple times because of it. And my favorite, by far, stunting. Stunting is when one person can throw another into their hands, or a group of 3 people can hold a cheerleader above their head. Well, this is my favorite because it just shows a great strength aspect to the sport of cheerleading. And here's a great definition by the Marquette Sports Law Review, released in a paper by Alexandra Zdenek in the fall of 2020. Sideline cheers were cheerleaders call repetitive cheers and perform the occasional stunts or tumbles during timeouts and aim to rally the crowd for the home team. The next topic is the competitive season of cheerleading, and this is probably the most in-depth. This is the season where cheerleading team is actually competing and maybe win some trophies. The way the competitions go is each team at the competition gets 3 minutes to perform these 5 categories: dance, tumbling, stunting, jumps, and overall performance. Since we've already covered dance, tumbling, and stunting, let's talk about jumps and overall performance. Well, jumps is very simple. It is the jumping motion with a certain body position accompanied with it. In the overall performance, really trickles down into 3 things, such as the energy in the performance, how clean it was, and the creativity. Well, if you are all confused during this, please just wait for the visual aid at the end, as it'll bring it together perfectly. And the one thing that I really want you to pull away from this is the greatest aspect of cheerleading, which is the teamwork aspect. And it's just all around cheerleading. Teamwork is everywhere. Tori Rubin, the co-manager of the England cheerleading team, states this in an article released by The Guardian on January 24th, 2020. It's a great sport because teamwork. It's all about athletes working together in unison to create something spectacular. I used to be a gymnast, and one of the hardest things I've found was the individual nature of the sport. With that being said, there is a decent negative to the sport, and that's the injury risks that come with it, and that can span from anywhere from a concussion to a broken arm. This article by NPR and written by Linda Holmes was released on January 8th, 2020, and goes in depth on these injury risks. Girls, because it's girls who are typically thrown in the air, dropped, hurt their arms, shoulders, and get concussions. Boys throw their backs out and screw up their wrists and also blow a knee out tumbling. And the last point I want to cover about cheerleading is the opportunities past high school for these cheerleaders as they want to continue in the sport they love. Well, thousands of cheerleaders go to college every year for cheerleading, and that can be anywhere from a big Division I university to a smaller Division III university. I've personally watched one of my teammates and peers of my cheerleading team go to Texas Tech University, which was such a cool experience to watch him go through that. It was truly amazing and inspiring. It means a lot to most cheerleaders to go to college for cheerleading, such as Jamie Andres, a Oklahoma Sooner cheerleader, who stated this in an article released by the New York Times on November 29th, 2020. Coming to OU for college was a big milestone for me, but it has given me so many amazing opportunities like being able to cheer for the Sooners. College isn't the only option, though, for cheerleading. There is the all-star cheer industry, which is teams outside of high school and college teams that compete nationally. And this is just another way that cheerleaders can cheer in the future and keep their sport they love alive. But there is one negative that comes with these teams. They can be pretty costly. And this statement was released in an article by The Insider on February 6, 2020. All-Star Cheer is club cheerleading. The cheerleaders have to pay to be on those teams. The cost can be anywhere from $1,500 to $5,000 per year, according to the U.S. All-Star Cheer Federation. As you can see, both of these options have kept high schooler cheerleaders' future bright in the sport that they love. And to wrap everything up, I really hope you've at least gained a little more knowledge and maybe a little respect for this sport, as I truly think it deserves it. As you go and see the visual aid now, I want you to just remember all the things I talked about, such as the sideline season of cheerleading, the competitive season of cheerleading, and the opportunities past high school for cheerleaders. Enjoy the visual aid and let the information I've told you today guide you through it. Thank you for your time.